Hey everybody, welcome to Art and Racing. My name is Alex. Let's do a quick recap. This weekend we have the Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal in the Gilles Villeneuve circuit. We have a really thrilling race, mostly because of the battles between George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, and Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. For the podium this weekend, we have Kimi Antonelli in the first position, followed by Lewis Hamilton in the second. And in the third position, we have Max Verstappen, who was able to capitulate the errors that the McLaren team had with their strategy. At the beginning of the race, we have several formation laps. The first one caused by the lights delayed. In second, Arbit Lindblad had a problem with his car and couldn't start the race. And the marshals were not able to take the car at the time, so that's why we have a second formation lap. For Cadillac and the McLaren team, they had a really bad strategy at the beginning of the race, putting intermediate tires to their cars. And they couldn't take advantage of the conditions of the track because it was mostly dry, so they were losing a lot of time in the beginning of the race. McLaren had the bad luck to restart from the bottom of the grid, so they have to overtake a lot of cars, and they finally couldn't have a really good position. Lando Norris ended up abandoning the race due to a problem with his gearbox, I guess. And Oscar Piastri was behind of the leaders, so he couldn't overtake them and get advantage of his car and his power unit. And it was really bad race for the McLaren team, and they couldn't capitalize points in this race. The most thrilling part of the race was Kimi Antonelli attacking George Russell for 30 laps to take the first position. Most of the action between Kimi Antonelli and George Russell occurred in the turns 11, 12, and 13, and in between that long straight where Kimi Antonelli was trying to overtake George Russell while he was defending his position. Kimi Antonelli was really close to George Russell, and he was trying to overtake him in several times. And in a couple of times he could, but George Russell had pace enough to overtake him again. In the lap 30, he had a problem with his car, so he had to abandon the race, and giving a really good advantage to Kimi Antonelli in the points, because he's almost 50 points ahead of him. And after that, Kimi Antonelli had a really calm and mostly quiet race, because he wasn't fighting anyone. He was in a really good pace, but he was kind of taking care of their tires and his engine. And the second part of the race, the fight between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, was really thrilling too. It was really cool to see Lewis Hamilton fight against Max Verstappen again. And it was really good to see them fight again for the podium positions, because Max Verstappen wasn't able to fight for the podium positions in this season. It was really good to see them fighting and defending their positions. And in the last laps, it was really good to see them fight for the second position, because Lewis Hamilton had really close behind Max Verstappen. And I guess that everybody was pushing for any of those drivers to get the second position. Finally, second position for Lewis Hamilton and third for Max Verstappen. For their teammates, Hadjar had a lot of trouble, mostly because he was making a lot of mistakes, and he had several seconds of penalty and then a stop and go. And Charles Leclerc could capitalize the fourth position. He was really far behind from Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, but at the end, the points are what it counts. And they could capitalize the most amount of points for the teams in this race. Franco Colapinto had a really good race too. He ended up in the sixth position in the grid. He also had some problems. He touched his front wing with another car, but it wasn't bad enough to have him in trouble or having losing some pace. Finally, there were several abandonments. The last one was Sergio Perez, who had his suspension snapped. Really weird. Alex Albon had to abandon due to his crash with Oscar Piastri. Fernando Alonso also abandoned the race, and there were other drivers who had some trouble too and had to abandon the race. This was the quick recap for the Canadian Grand Prix, the 5th of the season. I guess it was the best race of the season so far. It was really thrilling, as I told you. Hopefully, most of the races could be this way. Thank you so much. My name is Alex from Arton Racing, and have a good day. See you.